Leadership is the foundation that organizational success is built on. Whether you're new to the responsibilities or been doing it for a long time, understanding the foundations of leadership is one of the keys to effectiveness. Management is often confused with leadership. Both are complementary, not mutually exclusive. Leadership is the visionary process of influencing, motivating, and enabling others to contribute toward organizational success, focusing on change and people. Management is the operational process of planning, organizing, and controlling resources and tasks to achieve specific goals, focusing on systems and stability. Some key differences and characteristics between leaders and managers include: focus. Leaders focus on the what and why, such as vision and innovation, while managers focus on the how, specifically implementation and execution. Approach. Leaders inspire trust and foster innovation, while managers control risks and maintain structure. Authority. Leaders rely on influence, and managers rely on formal hierarchical position. And time horizon. Leaders look long-term, whereas managers focus on short-term goals. Fundamental leadership skills include developing self-awareness, communicating effectively, building trust, and driving results through others. Effective leaders also focus on mentoring teams and embracing change management. The core pillars of leadership are: communication, sharing job information, ideas, expectations, and clear feedback while practicing active listening. Communication might be the most important skill a leader can possess. Many industry surveys show that poor communication is the #1 problem with their organization. Integrity and trust. Building credibility by aligning actions with words, acting ethically, and creating a psychologically safe environment. The workforce must believe that you have their best interests at heart and that you are honest. Decision-making. Effective decision-making is a systematic process of choosing the best option by identifying the core problem, gathering reliable facts, and evaluating clear alternatives. Leaders must be able to make prompt decisions, even with imperfect information. Empowerment and delegation. New leaders must shift from doing the work to facilitating team success, delegating effectively, and fostering autonomy. Delegation may be the hardest skill to learn as a leader. Emotional intelligence. It is the ability to understand and manage your own emotions while also sensing and influencing the emotions of others. Leaders must understand personal emotions and those of team members to manage relationships and stress effectively. And vision and strategy. Vision is your aspirational destination, while strategy is the actionable roadmap used to get there. It includes defining goals and a clear direction for the team, department, or organization. Now let's focus on the core leadership styles. Leadership styles are the sets of philosophies, methods, and behaviors that managers use to guide, motivate, and manage teams to achieve goals. Common styles include autocratic, democratic, laissez-faire, and transformational. Effective leaders often blend these approaches based on team needs. But it's vital to remember that ultimately, leadership is not about the leader, it is about the led. Autocratic leadership, also referred to authoritarian leadership, is a management style characterized by individual control over all decisions with little to no input from team members. Leaders dictate work methods and processes, fostering a highly structured environment that can increase efficiency, particularly in crises, but may stifle creativity and lower morale. The key characteristics of autocratic leaders are: centralized authority. The leader holds all power and makes decisions independently. Top-down communication. Orders, rules, and procedures are communicated downward without seeking employee feedback. Limited collaboration. Creativity is discouraged, and input from subordinates is rarely accepted. And high structure. Clearly defined rules and close monitoring of performance, often with a do-what-I-tell-you approach. There are varying types of autocratic leaders. They include: directing is a strict management style where a single leader holds all power, makes independent choices without group input, and explicitly dictates every work method and process. Permissive makes final decisions independently but gives team members some freedom and flexibility in how they carry out their daily tasks. This approach blends top-down authority with operational latitude for workers. And paternalistic. Acts like a strict father figure who makes all choices alone while claiming to look out for the group's best interests. This style mixes total power with fake or real care for workers, expecting total loyalty in return. The advantages of autocratic leadership are quick decision-making. Highly effective during crises, emergencies, or situations needing rapid, high-stakes decisions. Clear chain of command. Reduces confusion regarding roles, processes, and who has the final say. And increased efficiency. Useful in environments with low-skilled employees who need strict supervision and clear direction. The disadvantages of autocratic leadership are low employee morale. Team members may feel disempowered, undervalued, and untrusted, leading to high turnover. Stifles innovation. Lack of employee input means potentially great ideas are missed. And dependent on the leader. The organization's success hinges entirely on the leader's capability. If they are wrong, the team follows them into error. Autocratic leadership is best used in military, crisis management, emergency scenarios, or when managing inexperienced teams needing strict, fast direction. It is worst used in creative teams, high-skill environments, or situations where employee engagement and innovation are critical for long-term success. Democratic, or participative leadership, is a collaborative style where leaders involve team members in decision-making, encouraging creativity, engagement, and open communication. While leaders make the final call, this approach boosts morale and innovation, making it highly effective for skilled teams, though it may slow down decisions. The key characteristics of the democratic leadership style include shared decision-making. Power is distributed, allowing team members to contribute to the final outcome. High engagement and collaboration. Leaders foster an environment where input is valued, leading to increased employee engagement. Open communication. Free exchange of ideas is encouraged, often resulting in greater innovation and creativity. And the leader acts as a facilitator. Although team-centered, the leader still provides guidance and controls the overall process. The types of democratic leaders include participative leadership. Involves team members in decision-making, encouraging open communication, sharing responsibilities, and guiding the group while keeping the final choice. Consensus leadership is a collaborative approach where leaders actively seek team input, encourage open dialogue, and build shared agreement before making final decisions. This method values collective intelligence to boost morale and ownership, though it requires more time than top-down management. And consultative leadership is a collaborative approach where leaders actively seek and value input from team members before making the final decision themselves. It balances group participation with ultimate individual accountability. The advantages of autocratic leadership are higher morale and job satisfaction. Employees feel empowered and valued. Improved creativity. Diverse perspectives lead to better problem solving and innovation. And stronger commitment. Team members are more invested in decisions they help create. The disadvantages of democratic leadership are slower decision-making. The collaborative process takes time, which is not ideal for emergencies. Potential for miscommunication. Without strong facilitation, discussions can become unproductive. And not ideal for unskilled teams. Requires team members to be knowledgeable to provide valuable input. Democratic leadership is best suited for scenarios requiring creative solutions, high team engagement, or when managing skilled professionals. It is commonly used in business management, team projects, and organizations seeking to foster a collaborative culture. A democratic leadership style is not suited for crisis situations, inexperienced teams, and fast-paced environments. It relies on group input and shared choices, which can cause major delays or poor results when fast, expert action is needed. Laissez-faire leadership is a hands-off management style where leaders offer minimal supervision, trusting highly skilled team members to make decisions, set goals, and manage their own work. Derived from French for let them do, this delegative approach fosters high creativity and autonomy but requires self-motivated, experienced teams to avoid confusion. The key characteristics of laissez-faire leadership include high autonomy. Employees have and take responsibility for their own work. Minimal oversight. Leaders do not micromanage, they intervene only when necessary. Supportive role. While hands-off, effective leaders still provide resources and guidance when asked. And delegative focus. Leaders delegate tasks and empower team members to make decisions. The types of laissez-faire leaders include delegative is a hands-off management style where leaders provide minimal supervision and give employees full autonomy to make decisions and manage their own workflows. The leader acts merely as a resource, stepping in only when requested or strictly necessary. And resource provision acts primarily as a resource provider rather than a daily director, giving employees high autonomy and stepping back from micromanagement. This hands-off approach relies on trust, expecting skilled team members to manage their own tasks while the leader remains available to supply tools, budgets, and information. The advantages of laissez-faire leadership are: boosts innovation and creativity. By removing rigid guidelines and micromanagement, team members are free to explore new ideas, take creative risks, and develop groundbreaking solutions. Enhances job satisfaction. Employees often feel more valued and motivated when trusted with autonomy, which can lead to higher engagement and better team retention. And improves resource allocation. By delegating day-to-day tasks, leaders are free to focus their energy on high-level strategy and overall business objectives. The disadvantages of laissez-faire leadership are: lack of direction and role confusion. Employees, particularly newer ones, frequently struggle without clear instructions. When everyone operates independently without coordination, teams can work in silos, leading to duplicated efforts and conflicting priorities. Decreased productivity and focus. While self-motivated individuals thrive, others may interpret this management style as permission to coast or procrastinate. In the absence of established deadlines or regular check-ins, tasks can easily fall off track. And perception of absent leadership. When managers are rarely visible or fail to offer feedback, the team may view them as uninvolved or incompetent. This detachment can significantly erode team morale and foster a lack of respect for leadership authority. Laissez-faire leadership works best with expert, highly experienced, or self-directed teams. It is commonly used in creative industries, laboratories, or companies with established, senior staff. This style should be avoided when managing new employees, handling high-stakes crises, or working with unstructured teams. This hands-off style fails when workers need active supervision to succeed. Transformational leadership is a management style that inspires and motivates employees to exceed expectations, fostering innovation and personal growth to achieve a shared organizational vision. Leaders focus on empowering followers by acting as role models, fostering emotional connections, and encouraging creativity, leading to higher morale and productivity. Transformational leadership is generally characterized by 4 key components. They include idealized influence, or role model. The leader acts as a charismatic role model, embodying high ethical standards and gaining trust and respect. Inspirational motivation, or shared vision. The leader inspires followers by communicating a compelling, optimistic future, encouraging them to achieve extraordinary goals. Intellectual stimulation, or innovation. The leader challenges the status quo, encouraging creativity, independent thinking, and new approaches to problems. And individualized consideration, or mentorship. The leader acts as a coach, attending to the unique development needs of each follower. The types of transformational leaders include role model. The practice of influencing employees by consistently demonstrating high integrity, positive behaviors, and ethical conduct. Shared vision. Involves collaboratively crafting and communicating a compelling, future-oriented picture of an organization's goals, inspiring team members to align their individual aspirations with the collective mission. Innovation. The ability to influence and enable others to generate, develop, and implement new ideas, products, or services. And mentorship. A developmental partnership where experienced leaders guide emerging talent, fostering critical skills like strategic thinking, emotional intelligence, and decision-making. The advantages of utilizing the transformational leadership style include increased motivation and loyalty. By fostering a sense of purpose and investing in employee growth, leaders improve morale and decrease turnover. Build strong culture. They emphasize trust, integrity, and open communication, uniting teams around a common goal. And effective change management. Transformational leaders excel at driving organizational change, adapting, and expanding the company. The disadvantages of transformational leadership are potential for burnout. High expectations and intense commitment can cause significant stress for both leaders and followers. Loss of short-term focus. A strong focus on the big picture can cause leaders to overlook immediate operational details or daily tasks. And slow decision-making. Relying on collaboration and team input can, at times, delay crucial, time-sensitive decisions. Transformational leadership is best suited for environments that need restructuring, innovation, or navigating change, rather than stable, highly bureaucratic organizations. It should be avoided during acute crises, in highly structured routine environments, and when managing unskilled or unmotivated teams. This style fails when a situation demands fast, top-down control rather than long-term inspiration and group consensus. Transactional leadership is a management style focused on supervision, structure, and performance, using a system of rewards and punishments to motivate employees and achieve short-term goals. It emphasizes clear expectations, efficiency, and compliance, making it effective for structured, task-oriented environments and crisis management. The key characteristics and mechanisms of transactional leadership include conditional incentives. Leaders offer bonuses, praise, or promotions when employees meet goals, and enforce penalties if targets are missed. Strict hierarchy. Decisions flow from the top down through a clear chain of command where strict obedience is expected. Short-term focus. The priority is meeting immediate, measurable objectives rather than long-term vision or creative transformation. And reactive problem solving. Leaders address issues only after they happen instead of planning proactive or innovative changes. The types of transactional leadership include contingent reward. Leaders set goals, provide guidance, and reward employees for hitting targets such as bonuses and praise. Management by exception active. Leaders monitor work closely to prevent errors, intervening to enforce standards. Management by exception passive. Leaders intervene only when problems become severe or deadlines are missed. And structure and order. Highly structured environments with strict adherence to rules and procedures. The advantages of transactional leadership are: it promotes efficiency and productivity, provides clear expectations and accountability, and is effective for short-term projects. The disadvantages are: it can stifle creativity and innovation, it relies on external motivators, and it may lead to high staff turnover due to impersonal, directive management. This style is highly effective in manufacturing, logistics, or during high-stakes situations requiring immediate compliance and consistent, predictable results. Transactional leadership should be avoided during creative tasks, long-term growth planning, and high-autonomy environments. It fails when teams need out-of-the-box thinking or deep intrinsic motivation. Servant leadership is a philosophy where leaders prioritize the growth, well-being, and empowerment of their team members over their own self-interest or power. This approach flips the traditional hierarchy, focusing on serving employees, who in turn serve the organization, to drive performance and create a caring, ethical work culture. The core principles of servant leadership include: focus on growth. Servant leaders prioritize the personal and professional growth of their employees, helping them reach their highest potential. Empowerment. They share power and decision-making, empowering others rather than controlling them. Empathy and healing. They strive to understand and support their team, cultivating a supportive environment. Stewardship. They view their role as holding the institution in trust for the greater good of society, taking responsibility for their team's impact. And listening. They act on the needs of their team by actively listening and seeking to understand, rather than merely directing. The types of servant leadership include: supportive servant leadership is a style where managers put their team's needs first, focusing on active listening, team growth, and shared power rather than strict control. Inclusive servant leadership is a leadership style that blends empathy, empowerment, and fairness to put the needs of all team members first. It helps every person feel safe, valued, and respected no matter their background. An ethical servant leadership combines moral integrity with the priority on serving others, focusing on empathy, empowerment, and accountability. The advantages of implementing the servant leadership style include: high employee morale and engagement. Employees feel valued and supported, which improves job satisfaction and loyalty. Increased innovation. By encouraging employee input, organizations often experience higher levels of creativity and better, collaborative problem solving. And higher trust and respect. The focus on empathy and service fosters a culture of transparency and psychological safety. The disadvantages of servant leadership are: slow decision-making. The focus on collaborative input can cause delays, which can be detrimental in crises or fast-paced industries. Risk of misinterpretation. Leaders might be viewed as weak or taken advantage of if they are not firm in holding individuals accountable. And difficult to scale. Often more effective in smaller groups, scaling this approach to large, impersonal organizations can be difficult. Use servant leadership when your goal is to empower your team, build long-term trust, and foster creativity. It works best with skilled workers, during times of cultural change, or when old top-down rules fail. Servant leadership is not effective during crises, with new or untrained teams, or in fast-paced environments. While it builds trust over time, it fails when situations demand immediate authority and fast execution. Choosing the right leadership style requires assessing your team's needs, the specific situation, and your natural strengths. Effective leaders shift their approach based on the task and context rather than using just one method. Using multiple leadership styles, often known as situational leadership, involves adapting your approach: transformational, transactional, democratic, servant, or autocratic, based on the context, team needs, and project complexity. Effective leaders blend these methods to maximize performance, drive engagement, and improve flexibility, allowing them to shift from commanding to coaching as situations require. Here are some reasons why it is beneficial to use multiple styles, often referred to as situational leadership. Increased adaptability. Change is inevitable. The best leaders shift styles when circumstances demand it. Team development. Different team members need different approaches. Some need coaching or servant, while others need clear direction or transactional. Improved effectiveness. Blending styles improves employee morale, productivity, and organizational engagement. And context-driven. Use autocratic in emergencies and transformational when pioneering a new direction. Here are some tips on how to implement a multi-style approach. First, assess the situation. Evaluate the maturity of the team, the urgency of the task, and the complexity of the problem. Develop versatility. Experiment with different styles in diverse scenarios to see what works. Know your default. Understand your natural style and consciously build skills to fill in your gaps. And use coaching. A coach-driven style helps you identify individual team members' strengths and weaknesses. Understanding leadership principles is vital because they build trust, guide decision-making, and align teams toward common goals. Knowing these core concepts helps turn basic values into daily actions so groups can work together well. We hope you found this training video valuable. Please click the subscribe button to access additional FSTG training videos.